Welcome back to another week of the Brotagonists. I am your bro host, Mason.
And I'm your bro host, Carter.
We are so excited to be with you today because today's episode is all about the villains. But before we get into the villains, we have a few announcements, some new news in the world of nerdhood this week. First off, what many of you probably have already heard and have seen us post about is Brandon Sanderson signed a deal with Apple to bring the Cosmere to the big and small screens. And we're all really, really excited about that. Brandon Sanderson is personally my favorite author. I know he's up there for Carter. And that's just like so exciting. It's a good time to be a nerd. And another big thing is the announcement of Maul Shadow Lord. And the trailer for it just looks so good. Have you seen it, Carter?
I saw the trailer, and if you're a Clone Wars fan, then you will be a Maul Shadow Lord fan. It looks so good. But I think if you're a Clone Wars fan, you've got to have seen the trailer already, and you've got to agree that it looks awesome. And I've got my red eyes in for the villain episode today.
I was looking at you before we started. I was like, why do your eyes look different?
So like 3 years ago for Halloween, my wife wanted to be vampires. So she wanted to be Twilight vampires. And so we got the red contacts.
And I got my Darth Vader shirt on. He's, having a drink on the beach. So I'll stand up so everyone can see it and admire my great shirt.
I said it was crazy that you had 3 Darth Vader shirts. And you said, what'd you say?
I have at least 5 Darth Vader shirts. He's the GOAT. He's like one of the best villains of all time.
Well, now I want one. Yeah.
Carter, is there anything you want to add? Did I miss anything with our weekly announcements?
I don't think so. Just that I would encourage everybody to go look at our last video on Mistborn and get an idea of how to start reading Brandon Sanderson. And if you already have read Brandon Sanderson, to see our thoughts on Mistborn, The Final Empire. That was what our last episode was about, and movie adaptations. And it was perfectly on theme with Brandon Sanderson's Apple TV deal. And so
we actually recorded that episode before Brandon made the deal. So it was just kind of perfect timing.
Very weird. Very weird. Like, it's just weird how life coincidences happen like that. I thought that was interesting.
No, it was super
so
cool.
weird. I was kind of creeped out, actually.
He must have just saw us and he's like, I got to make this a movie now.
Are you sure that when we weren't outlining our episode, you didn't have some insider information?
I wish I was cool enough and up there enough to have insider information, but I did not.
Yeah.
And those that have read the book, also share with us your opinions on it. You might give us ideas of things to talk about in the future that we haven't addressed, and maybe some things to improve the score, things to lessen the score. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. And we know that our opinions are our opinions, and they can be wrong, but we like to think they're right.
Remember, you have the right to your opinion. I have the right to be right.
We're in America.
All right.
Mason, what are you reading right now?
I'm glad you asked. It's been a busy week of reading for me. I finished Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. Not my book. It's just not. It's been by far the worst of the series I've read so far.
Yeah.
And I do think it is correct to read the first 2 first because they are better than this one. And it also gives you some more context and makes the stakes a little bit higher for this one. But you can read this one first if you like. But I personally didn't like it. I do see how a different audience would like it. But we'll probably go over these at some point in the future where I'll give more detailed criticisms. But I will say that it is well written. There's a lot of deficiencies in it, in my opinion, and it's just not my thing. But we'll see what book 4 brings. And then I finished Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban in about a day and a half.
Okay.
Honestly, these are very good books, easy reads. There's not a lot of words on each page. It goes pretty quick.
The Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite movie of the 8.
Really? Mine might be a hot take. Order of Phoenix is my favorite.
No way. Nobody would ever say that.
Here's the thing. You get an actual wizard duel that's not just Harry Potter and Voldemort pointing their wands at each other like, who's going to break first?
Yeah, you get the Dumbledore Voldemort duel. That's true.
And I loved Luna Lovegood as a kid. I had a big crush on her. But I
did not know that.
Grade when it came out, and I really like that movie. That's my favorite Harry Potter movie. But the book was really good, and this is the first time in the series that we get more than just one dimension to a character, diving into Sirius Black and his relationship with Remus and Lily and James and Peter Pettigrew. I feel like he has like the most depth to him as a character at this point. He's really not in the book very much. And you get more information on the Marauders than you get in the movies. And so
True.
I really enjoyed the book. I still think it's a little one dimensional, but I'm excited for book 4 where the books get a little bit bigger and it seems like there's a lot more detail coming in.
Definitely. Like book 4, it really ramps up and all the way to the end. Those books will be fun to review. I'm excited to review those books.
I've really, even though like I've already seen the movies and the movies have been pretty true to the books, I still get a lot of joy out of listening to these books and reading them. I do a lot of audiobook. They've been fun and they've been well worth my time.
You bring up the more information on the Marauders, and I am just confused on why we're remaking Harry Potter when we could have awesome movies like The Marauders or like the Founders of
Founders.
Hogwarts or, Voldemort's origin
Merlin,
stories,
or, like,
Merlin or Grindelwald and
well,
Dumbledore.
I think there's a lot of problems with Fantastic Beasts, but I felt like he was like just kind of getting good when they stopped. I love seeing young Dumbledore and I love seeing wizard duels that are not just them pointing their wands at each other. Like you get to see so many cool tricks and spells and curses and defenses and deeper magic than what we're getting at the school level. And I thought that was really cool. And I really wanted them to get to the point where they show the Grindelwald versus Dumbledore final duel, which is considered the best duel ever seen in wizard history.
I've had some people coming at us in the comments for our review on the Eternals. They say they say that it sucked, and I think it may be our fault because we didn't read the comics. But I think if you ignore the comics, it was good,
Potentially.
enjoyable.
We did mention we're not big comic book people.
Yeah. So I had to say, sorry, we're ignorant of the comics. Forgive us.
All right. And to finish up what I'm reading, I started Sun Eater finally.
Yes.
Empire of Silence. So far, it's reminding me a lot of Dune and Red Rising, just like right in the middle of those. It's kind of exciting, but also kind of boring at the same time. For those who've read it, you'll kind of know what I mean. It's exciting in the most boring way possible.
Exactly. It's a very slow burn, the first book.
Yeah. It's overall, it's been pretty good. I'm not in love with Hadrian yet, and we'll see where it goes. It's a thick book, lots of words on each page. I feel like I'll put in like so much time into the reading and listening, and it'll be like 30, 40 minutes later. It's like, okay, made it 10 pages. So it's going to be a slow burn, but I'm excited to see where it goes.
Very good.
What are you reading?
I told you I started The Sword of Destiny, The Witcher, The Sword of Destiny book last week. And I had such a crazy week that I barely got to read it all. So I'm halfway through that book still. But I'm enjoying it. I just got past the dragon scene, the golden dragon scene, which is cool.
That one's in the first season of the show, right?
It is. Yeah, it is. It's crazy that it's weird. Some of the lore in The Witcher doesn't make any sense. Like a golden dragon is the only type of dragon that can change his form.
Yeah, I also think it's weird to have 2 books, like 2 full books that are just like short stories. And it's like, can we get into it, please?
Yeah. But I am watching The Witcher show right now. I'm on season 3 and I like it, but it is dropping off. Like season 1 and season 2 were obviously better. And it's making me almost not want to read the next 7 books of The Witcher.
For what Henry Cavill said is they kept getting away from the source material, and that's why he left. So I would stick with it. I'll let you know what else is.
Okay. I want to read it. I just don't know where to prioritize it. I don't know why they renamed the bard in the TV show. In the book, his name is Dandelion, and in the show, his name is Yaskir. But there's just interesting changes like that. It's like there's no purpose of changing his name.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm enjoying it, and yeah, a lot more reading this week. I have a road trip tomorrow, so I think I'll finish 1 or 2.
Nice. All right.
Okay, that brings us to our first segment of the show, the book breakdown. And today, for our villain-themed episode, we've chosen a book with a great villain or great villains. I think there's more than one villain. And all of the protagonists are almost like anti-heroes, you know what I mean? So this is it's The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwyn. This was the first John Gwyn book I read, and I just saw the cover of this book for like the last 4 years or so, and I couldn't wait to read it. And I just read it this last year. And Mason, you just read it, and it's brutal and awesome.
So looking at the front cover, I saw it and I was like, this book is either really good or just awful, nowhere in the middle. And I hadn't heard really anyone talk about it, but I saw it at like every bookstore I went to. So I was glad that you read it and were like, it's good. So I felt I was able to take a step in there and read it and not feel I was going to be wasting my money and my time reading it. And I have this thing where once I start a series, even if I had just one book in, I need to finish it. Um,
Yeah,
which is
that's
why I'm
how I
putting
am.
myself through the Throne of Glass right now. But I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Viking fantasy, and honestly, I think this is a good one to kind of get into fantasy as well, because it's not super magical or out there with the magic and the fantasy aspects. It's definitely much more Viking than it is fantasy, and so I feel it's very digestible.
Yeah, it takes elements of Norse mythology and kind of mixes them up into a brand new and fresh story. And I thought it was really, really cool to read. What's your initial take on the book? Or what are your thoughts?
Really enjoyed the book. Felt that there was story arcs that I liked more. I really liked the Elvar story arc quite a bit. She was a good character. I like that they start her off in a place of she's just a member of this group called the Battle Grim. And I also like that she's like not the lowest and not the highest. She's just kind of like in the middle, but their leader, Agnar, really likes her. And you get to see her kind of like go up through the ranks where Varg is at like the very bottom. You know, he was a slave that kind of freed himself and then ends up with the Bloodsworn. And then Orca is kind of out on her own. I felt we got a lot of Varg in this book, and he was kind of my least favorite arc. And so for me, that kind of brought it down a little bit. I also felt that they could go into the lore a bit more, where they mention things and briefly talk about them as if we would kind of know what they are. Where I would like them to go more into, okay, what happened? Why did the gods start fighting? Why are they all dead now? Other
You
than,
want a prequel.
or just like an explanation as to what happened to them,
Yeah.
And it never, even in like by the end of the third book, you only get like brief glimpses of what happened. And
But that is similar to even the way Brandon Sanderson writes. You don't really know the backstory of the gods until, you're sometimes even a couple books into the series.
yeah. And so, but the series is over and I still don't know certain things.
Mhm.
But I would have liked it to go into lore a little bit more. I would have liked more Elvar. I would have liked names that were a little bit different so I wasn't getting them mixed up. But honestly, really good, good pacing. All of the arcs, even though I had a preference to some, were good and engaging in a way that you want to keep reading. I feel like it was a little too heavy on the revenge. Orca is trying to recover her kidnapped son. Elvar is looking for a um, place in lore and in history. Varg is looking for a way to avenge his sister that was killed as a slave. So all of them are engaging arcs. All of them are stories you're interested in. And at this point, you have no idea how they come together, which is kind of fun, but also kind of annoying as you don't really know where anything's going.
You're hard to please. You're hard to please.
It was a great book. I really enjoyed it, and I gave it a good score.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned a couple things I wanted to talk about. One of my questions to you was going to be, and for those of you that haven't read this, which is, I hope most of the listeners, so that they're getting a fresh take, but also if you've read it, hopefully you enjoy the commentary. But the three POVs in this book, Orca, her arc is family and vengeance, as Mason said. Elvar, she's kind of has ambition and she's seeking glory. And then Varg is, searching for identity and belonging. And I was going to ask you what POV was your favorite, but you said Elvar. I was also going to ask you what POV hooked you first. Was it also Elvar?
I think so. Like the first, like one or two chapters that she's there, she's hunting down what's called a tainted, which is someone that has the blood of the gods in their veins. And so they're like extra strong, have superhuman strength and speed, and a couple other cool features. And her Jarl, Agnar, kind of start this fight with with this entire clan and really put them in their place. And so that kind of like hooked me right away. Orcas also hooked me right away because, or I think chapter one, they find that like their neighbors have been killed and their son has been kidnapped. And you're just like, what's going on here?
For me, who hooked me first was Orca because she was so brutal. Like you knew that she had a brutal past and a violent past, and you don't really realize just how violent and just how awesome she was, especially in combat, until it progresses and she starts to fulfill her vengeance. But actually, what you were talking about how it doesn't explain like the back history and the lore. So his writing style is a little bit different in that way, where John Gwyn, he drops you into this world and you don't know, like the world's not explained. The world building's happening through action and not through exposition. I think it's just a stylistic choice of his. And it can be unique. It can be a very cool and unique way to experience a new world because everything kind of seems vast and unknowable, and it keeps you to me it almost like keeps the hook in me all the way to the end, like searching for those answers. And it does reveal some answers, but not all of them. So like you're stuck thinking, like even to today I'm stuck thinking about those books and things that I want to know, and that can be very frustrating, but also it served its purpose in making me really think and like be hooked to the series.
Yeah. And I approve of the style choice. I just wish that there was a little bit more. Like the books look really thick, but really they're pretty quick reads
Yeah.
and actually kind of short for a high epic fantasy where I'm like, we got space in there to add just a little bit more into the lore.
Yeah. This book, though, really cemented my desire to read every book that John Gwyn ever comes out with. I love the magic system, how it's subtle, but also it can be powerful. The magic system in this book is power through blood.
So all the gods had like a human form and an animal form. And the blood of like the gods, if you were a descendant of Ulfrir, the wolf god, you had kind of these wolf-like abilities. Same with if you were from the bear god, you were called a berserkir, and you kind of had more of a bear-like response when your god blood got boiling. But yeah, there's numerous gods that have their animal and human-like form, and all of their descendants that are part human, part god have like those abilities. We'll talk more in the future books about how the
How the gods play a role.
ones that come from Ulfir, the wolf god, kind of have like a pack mentality and kind of like have a very mild telepathy, and it's kind of cool that they have that ability when others don't, and
Yeah.
more a lot of pack mindset. But we're probably not explaining it great on here. It's subtle. The book makes it simple, and you're not really questioning what's going on as it's happening.
Yeah. It's a cool magic system. Essentially, the magic is biological and inherited. And I think that's very cool. The book is very brutal. And so if you don't have a strong stomach, I would not suggest this book because there's some graphic fight scenes. But the cool thing is every fight matters and changes the story. I don't think that there's gratuitous, blood being spilled. I think it all is pertinent to the story and changes the story as it's supposed to. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it feels like because like I said, these really aren't crazy long high fantasy, epic fantasy books. They're actually on the shorter end for this genre. And so everything in the books is pretty deliberate and impactful.
Yeah. And this is a series opener of a trilogy. And this is a series opener done right. There's big promises, and you're not left with empty cliffhangers. You know that there's a lot more to happen, and there are story arcs to be completed, but there's no empty cliffhangers. And like I said before, there's big promises to come. And every book really feels like that as you get into it. Every book, the stakes are higher than they were before. And for readers that want less court politics and more blood and myth, this is your book.
And we got to get to the most important part, Carter. Mild spoilers ahead. Those that want to maybe skip ahead of 2 or 3 minutes. I don't think it's too big of a spoiler because there's a dragon on the front cover, so you know the ones involved. The climax of this book is the dragon goddess Leekreefa is released from her prison and is now hell-bent on taking over the world again.
And
And
she's insane. Dude, the whole book, I was thinking, where is the dragon on the cover? So this is not a spoiler because the dragon's on the cover.
But I don't know if you can see this dragon and just hear the name Leekreefa and can just like hear that this is an unhinged person.
I just got shivers, dude.
Like when you're reading that name and hear it like in the audio, you're just like Leekreefa. That just sounds like someone that is a problem.
Every time you say it. Every time you say it. And look how massive look how massive she is compared to the human on the cover. That makes her way scarier.
Like,
And I don't think it's a huge spoiler. And we told you to skip just in case, but there is a
but
dragon on the cover. But you the whole book you think, where's the dragon? Where's the dragon? And
but
then finally.
she is a great example of a unhinged, merciless, terrible tyrant hell-bent on taking over the world that is intimidating and powerful and really everything you could want in a good villain.
She does what she does to be cruel. And that is scary because there's a lot of villains that you can understand, but ones that you can't understand, those ones scare me.
And she's a good balance of she's smart, she's not dumb, but she's also like unhinged enough that she just gets in these like fits of rage that you can't predict. And that's also a dangerous combination of someone that's smart and rageful and unhinged is the best word I could think to describe her.
She's unhinged.
It talks about her like she goes into her woman form and she'll sometimes get so angry she can't even like contain it. Like she like switches like part into a dragon. You see like her dragon teeth because when she's like upset about something, she can't even like contain herself to be in that form.
So, getting on to our rankings for the book. I'll start off with telling you what Goodreads has this book ranked at, and then we can go into it. Goodreads has this book at an 8.4. I have this book, you're gonna rip me apart. I have this book because I loved it so much, I never read anything like it, at a 9.4. So I admit, like looking at the Goodreads and reading the reviews and talking with you, maybe I need to come down. But what do you have?
I had it at an 8.0.
Okay.
So here's my opinion on what we should rank it. I agree with the Goodreads. I think we should put it at 8.4. And as far as the quality of the book that it is, I would say it's even with Mistborn, but based on preferences and what you're wanting and what speaks to you is what you're going to prefer more. When we talked before, you prefer this book and I prefer Mistborn. So for me, I'm like 8.4. The highest I'd be willing to go is 8.6 for this book to rank it. I would find it very appropriate in there.
Okay, that's fair. I would say I love Mistborn, but this book, and for those of you that didn't see our last episode, we ranked Mistborn at 8.4 and we both agreed on it.
So I would say this is a rated R book and PG-13 is what Mistborn is.
I can't go lower than our 8.4 and you can't go higher than an 8.6. Are you willing to do an 8.5?
I am willing to do an 8.5. I do think that there is something because Mistborn, it does read a little bit more young adult-ish. The theme of it definitely is, and the vibes definitely aren't like young adult, but it does read a little bit more young adult and progressively get more adults, where this one starts more adults than Mistborn. And I could give it a slight edge there, even though I do prefer Mistborn over this book. All the Brandon's writing, you never feel like a darkness, like kind of serious overtone to it. There's always some kind of like lightness to it.
Yeah.
Where like this, like I don't think I ever imagined the sun in this book. Everything is done in the dark.
It's just brutal. It's so crazy. I hadn't read something with so much blood in it before, besides the Bible, maybe. Boy, well, I don't know.
I think we could do 8.5. I think that's appropriate.
I don't want to feel like I'm pulling you there, but I think I have to say 8.5.
I think both are appropriate scores for what we've given these.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to preference, and you liked this one a lot more than I like Mistborn, even though I prefer Mistborn over this one.
Yeah, and you know what? I think you'll be happy when I rank Hero of Ages over Fury of the Gods.
Hero of Ages is the best ending to a trilogy. It's so good.
So
Anyways.
I'll make it up to you.
All right.
So our official protagonist ranking for The Shadow of the Gods, the first book in the Bloodsworn saga, is 8.5. That brings us to our next segment, the Brotagonists IQ test Villain Edition. And I have prepared 10 questions plus an 11th bonus question for Mason. As this game works, as Mason has outlined this game, the average IQ in the United States is 98. And we start this game at 95. That's how this game starts every time. This is Villains Edition. And this is Mason's first time on the receiving end of the questions. So for every question you get right, your IQ will either go up 5 points or go down 5 points. And there's some questions that could be partial credit, as we learned last time.
I gotta say, everyone said that my questions were really hard that I gave you, so now I'm like a little nervous for how bad that these are gonna be.
So these are questions I pulled from books you've read, movies and TV shows. You know all of the villains I will be referring to, and the bonus question is worth 10 points. Okay, question 1. What core was inside Voldemort's wand?
Unicorn hair. I don't know. I don't know. No, phoenix hair.
You answered so
Phoenix
quick.
feather.
It is Phoenix Feather. You did answer, but it was different after the buzzer. So we're going to have
That's
to
a
say
-5.
we're gonna have to say -5.
It's a -5.
All right.
Gosh, picking Harry Potter.
Okay. Question 2. You were so close. You were so close. Because Voldemort and Harry share a core, and that's why they can't kill each other.
Yeah, I was thinking of Lucius Malfoy's, but that's fine.
Question 2. What tower is Sauron's fortress?
Baradur.
Good job. +5. I want to get that Lego set.
Oh, it looks so. It's like $500, but it looks so cool.
No. I just got that Lego set I showed you. It's Gandalf fighting the Balrog on the bridge,
Yeah.
and it folds into a book nook. Okay, question 3. You're back to even. What hand does Jaime Lannister lose?
It's right. Sword hand.
Yes. Yep. He loses his right hand. All right, you're above average. You're at 100. Question 4. What spoken request does Vader make to Luke before dying?
Take off his mask.
Yes, to remove his helmet. Exactly. Wow, that was good. I thought you'd be more stumped on that one. But you do have
It's
5 Darth
actually an
Vader
easy
shirts.
one. What did he like? I was thinking more like his last thing he said. Like, he wasn't saying anything about Leia. He didn't say anything about anything else. It was
You
the
do
mask.
have 5 Darth Vader shirts, so I'm glad that you got that one. Question 5. In Stormlight, Way of Kings, what is Odium's true name?
Raise.
Yep, you're killing it. Question 6. What mental discipline is Lysander Auloon known for?
No idea. Absolutely no idea.
The mind's eye.
Oh, gosh. Now, yeah.
Dude, sometimes I blank on these because the light's in my eyes. I just like
I
it.
was like, what the heck are you talking about? And as soon as you say it, I'm like, oh, yeah. I just hate him so much. I block him out.
You're doing so well. You're doing so well. Okay, question 7. From the series by Robert Jordan, The Wheel of Time, where is the Dark One sealed? Na 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 na.
The Eye of the World.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer. I don't know.
Shale Ghoul. You
So
knew
that's
that.
a hard one. There's so many places in that book.
Question 8. From the Bloodsworn saga, which we were just referencing in our book breakdown, what is the name of the rat god?
Rota.
Rota. Good. Question number 9. In The Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini, what color was Galbatorix's first dragon?
Gosh dang it. I know which one Shuriken was. Shuriken was black. His first dragon. It's a guess. I'm going to go with blue.
Oh, you're close. You're close. Purple.
I didn't know that.
Bonus points if you know its name. Its name is, nobody should know this. Its name was Jarnunvosk. Nobody should know. I'd actually be concerned if you knew. So a lot of the time the villain is space itself. And so question 10 is, in what order are the planets from the sun going out to Pluto?
Gosh dang it.
If you don't want to embarrass yourself, you can stop now.
No, I think I actually know the order once we get to Earth, but I just don't know which two are before that. Well, I know which two they are, but I don't remember the order. I think it's Mercury. Am I off already?
Correct. But as soon as you say one wrong, it's going to be wrong.
Mercury, Venus,
Yes.
Uranus.
Wrong.
Mercury, Venus, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and some would say Pluto afterwards. You're back at 95, so 3 points below average of the typical human. Okay, but your bonus, I really believe in you for the bonus question of 10 points. From the book and movie Twilight,
Okay.
name the trio of villains that walk out of the woods into the Collins baseball game.
Does saying the Volturi just qualify?
The Volturi is not in the first book or movie.
Oh, so you're talking about James?
Yep, James.
That's the only one I remember. I don't know the other two.
You could probably get the redhead.
Victoria,
Yeah, see, you know it.
James, Victoria. What's the guy's name? Laurent. Yeah. Never would have.
You did better than I did. And you know what? You knew Voldemort's wand in your head, and you knew the Mind's Eye, and you knew Shell Ghoul.
I didn't know Shale Ghoul. I didn't.
I think the hardest one was probably Galbatorix's dragon color.
Yeah, that. I was like,
And honestly, I don't know if I could have named the planets either.
I swear Uranus was before Earth.
It's not. I'm sorry.
I just want to look this up.
Also, is Pluto a planet?
Pluto's not. No.
Really?
Anyways. All right. So I'm average.
You're average. I think that's a win. Well, it's not a win. It's like a draw. That was fun. Is 95 good? I don't know. Not really.
All right, that brings us to our next segment, which is blind rankings of villains. It's a fan favorite here on the Brotagonists. I have selected 5 random villains from sci-fi, fantasy movies, shows, books, and I'm going to list them in a random order, and Carter has to rank them 1 to 5 without knowing what comes next. All right, number 1, from the Holy Bible, Satan.
No, you
I'm
did
kidding.
it.
That's not on there.
Oh, okay. I thought you were literally going to do it.
Yeah, there's some fantasy story, the Bible. No, I'm kidding.
My gosh.
Okay. The actual first villain in this list, we are going to go the Joker.
That's good. I would say, just because, like we were talking about with the villain in the Shadow of the Gods, how they're just unpredictable and psychotic. That's scary. Like, you never know what they're going to do. I'm going to put the Joker at number 3.
Wow, it's a bold take.
No, that's a safe take.
Trying to think of the order I want to go in. All right. Number 2, Fire Lord Ozai.
Ozai was one of the most evil Fire Lords and continued the era of malice and evil and dominion over the continent. He was after power, was what he was after. And that's understandable. That's like a common one for villains. So he's kind of like one-dimensional. He's not very interesting to me. He wants power, and he's just kind of mean to everybody. He's mean to his son, and he's a bad dad. So he deserves to be higher, but I'm going to put him at number 4.
All right. Up next. Who do I want to give you next? We'll go Thanos.
Thanos, I mean, he wiped out half of all creation. It was in his mind to save all creation. So that's tough, because I don't think his purpose was super evil. It was very misguided, and he did kill a lot of people. He killed more people than the Joker and Firelord Ozai. So I'm going to put him at number 5.
You're going to put Thanos at number 5.
Yep, I understand Thanos. Now give me the ones you were loading up for me.
All right, next is, I'm going to make this hard on you. Darth Maul.
Darth Maul, number 2, easy.
Do you think that's where he belongs?
I think Darth Maul could belong at number 2. I think as far as villains goes, I mean, he's Star Wars Episode 1's main villain.
They did a good job with him in Clone Wars. I'm excited for Maul Shadow Lord. And he is like super iconic and just like the face of evil, you know? In the movies, we don't get him saying or doing a lot.
I am taking into account Clone Wars and stuff like that. And he's such a dynamic villain when you bring into account all of the canon. And he has so many motivations. He's very smart, and he's epic with a lightsaber. Nobody looks more evil than Darth Maul. The horns and the black and the red, it's just like, I think he does belong at number 2. I'm happy with that spot.
Red son of Dathomir.
Yeah. And I don't think he like started out wanting to be evil. Like I think he was manipulated, but I mean,
Well, he's taken from his mother's arms to be a weapon for the Sith.
I'm happy with him at number 2. Show me Darth Vader for number 1.
The last one I have on the list is Odium from the Spermite Archive.
Oh my gosh. Odium has to be number 1, I guess. Dang it. I think, let's see, did I make a mistake here? Thanos might be a little low. Is this Odium or Terravodium?
Odium.
I don't know which one's more evil, actually. Okay, well, I'm stuck with it.
Or we're gonna just say the power of Odium.
Well, that's true. Boy, Odium. Well, he's my number 1. Doesn't matter. Those were good ones. I was just trying to think of what you would put. But you totally threw me off. Those were good, though. I'm curious, what would you rank them?
Darth Maul would be my number 1, Joker number 2, Thanos number 3, Odium number 4, Ozai number 5.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
That was good.
the Carter's blind rankings were number 1, Odium from the Stormlight Archive, 2, Darth Maul, 3, the Joker, 4, Fire Lord Ozai, 5, Thanos.
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 Awesome. That wraps up our blind rankings and brings us to our next segment, sponsored by Moe's Seafood and Chowder, our Watchtower review. And our Watchtower review this week is Best Villains in Cinema. And it's just a discussion if you're interested.
So, Carter, who do you think are your top 3 best villains in cinema?
Darth Vader. I can't think of a more iconic villain, one that's more conflicted and whose origin story I just want to watch over and over and over again, who started out as someone that was good and pure, and you just see the slow corruption, and then there's a redemption arc at the end. A lot of villains don't get a redemption arc, and they don't deserve one, but Darth Vader's one that just becomes someone that's beyond evil and tries to suppress empathy and love for so long, and then you see in all these monstrous acts that he commits. But then he gets his redemption arc, and his helmet, dude.
Yeah.
I think he's iconic. Altered voice is always a cool aspect of a villain. He's got the scary voice. So Darth Vader number 1. I grew up watching all the X-Men. I think Magneto number 2, and Voldemort number 3. Although I know there's people more evil than Magneto, I just think Magneto's really fun to watch.
He is. He's a good villain character, anti-hero villain character, you know?
Yeah. I was looking at your favorite movies, and I was thinking, I saw the Gladiator on there. Is Commodus one of your favorite villains, or do you hate him?
He's too wimpy to be like a great villain. He like fights Maximus when he's hurt and still loses.
What are your 3 favorites?
I'm trying to think of them. So
Oh,
Darth Vader, to not have Darth Vader in your top 3 is criminal.
yeah. I think having Darth Maul on there almost is something that I should have done, but I can't. I was trying to choose different stuff.
I think Shadow Lord, depending on how it goes, could cement him in the top 3 for sure. But I feel like he just hasn't done enough. Like he just like isn't quite powerful enough. Like he can't beat the Emperor. He probably couldn't beat Vader. Actually, we see in Rebels that he wouldn't fight Vader alone because he knew he couldn't win.
Yeah.
But he's just got like the perfect face and like attitude for a villain. I love Bane from Batman. Tom Hardy's Bane.
Yeah.
That's like my kind of villain where he was smart, but at the same time, he's like so physically intimidating, which I think even though Heath Ledger gave a perfect performance for the Joker and did an excellent job, I feel like he doesn't have that physical presence of he could beat up Batman, you know?
You'd be a good Bane. I was born in the dark. You think you know the dark? I was born in the dark.
Bane is a really good villain for me. The Harkonnens were good villains in Dune, but I don't think I'd give them a top 3. I just thought of one and then I lost it.
Was it Sauron?
Sauron, yes. Like he didn't even need to have like a physical presence there to spike intimidation into the whole world. And I love how like he tricked basically the entire world of men into following him.
Yeah.
I like a smart villain, a villain with a presence, also intimidating, and you know, just so much influence to be a world-ending threat.
He's a good villain. It's really hard to think of someone better besides Darth Vader, of course. But as far as my favorite villains, I know he's like a great villain, and maybe deserves like one of the most evil villains titles, but not one of my favorite because you never see him. You know, he's just an eye. He's just on borrowed door the whole time.
Yeah, that's kind of why I haven't been thinking of, and I could say the same thing for the Dark One, where
Yeah,
you don't ever really get to see him. I was trying to think of like other. Davy Jones was a really good bad guy in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Davy Jones is a good bad guy. Gollum, Gollum, Gollum.
I'm gonna do Davy Jones, Bane, and Vader.
Davy Jones, Bane, and Vader. Those are good. What's another good Bane quote you could give us? Give me one in the mic.
It will be painful. You seem like a tough guy. For you,
For you. Dude,
Carter, in your opinion, was Jenny from Forrest Gump a villain?
Jenny is a villain 100%. That's not even debatable. You obviously think she's a villain, right? If you're asking
But
me that
yeah,
question. How
she
could you
she
do that
treated
to
Forrest so bad.
and then she, like, hides his child from him?
Yeah.
Ugh,
Hides her child from his dad.
she treats him so bad. She does.
She was also a victim, though. She had a hard childhood and was lost and looking for something. From books that you've read that have not had an adaptation yet, who do you most want to see on the big screen as a villain?
I think it's just because it's fresh and we just talked about it, but I wanna see Leekreefa, the dragon god from the Bloodsworn saga on the big screen. What about you?
Would really like to see Lysander Alloon.
Yeah, that'd be good. Is the greatest movie villain the one who's the most evil or the one who makes you understand and almost agree with them?
I am gonna lean towards the second, where
Interesting.
you have to agree with him a little bit. But that being said, they have to actually be a villain. Where I feel that just like for me, the number one villain ever is Darth Vader. He's got the iconic look. He's actually evil. He's done terrible things. He's killed children. He wiped out the Jedi. He's ruling the galaxy, enforcing slavery and all these things and just being awful. Like he's a villain. But at the same time, knowing his whole story and seeing his redemption arc is you can not relate to it, but you see a person in there where he grew up a slave and then he finally gets his freedom and is kind of not made a slave, but he doesn't get to have any possessions. He doesn't get to have love. He doesn't get to have attachments. And as someone that grew up a slave that wants to just have that freedom to have attachment to something and then lose it in his mom and then not be able to have it anywhere else. And he's looking for anywhere to have it and finds that with Padme and then finds out that he's going to lose her too, that he just crumbles and it's not justified, but you kind of are like, "Man, that sucks." And to also be part of a system that knows about the slavery going on and does nothing about it, and they're the good guys at the same time, you're just like you lose faith in it, and you see it, and knowing that side of the story, and then seeing Luke want to turn him back and bring him back to who he is you want that to happen. You don't really I didn't grow up watching the original Star Wars, obviously, I'm too young for that. Knowing the story now is like you're cheering for Luke to redeem Vader, not necessarily to kill Vader. I think it's probably the opposite back in the day, but knowing the whole story is I feel that that makes Vader relatable, it makes him understandable, at the same time, he's an iconic bad guy, you know?
Yeah, I can tell you've really internalized the story of Anakin Skywalker.
Love that.
Well, one more question for you to end off this segment. Which cinematic villain, if you took away all their power and weapons and status, would still be terrifying?
The Joker. He doesn't have any status, he doesn't really have weapons, he's just an unhinged guy that's pretty dang smart and,
Yeah,
makes it happen.
yeah. I'd say Darth Maul, just because how he looks.
Be intimidating
Maybe that's racist.
to red people.
Yeah, to red horned people.
What really gets me into a good TV show, a good book, a good movie is a good villain. And it doesn't have to be a singular person either. Like in The Last Kingdom, the villains are like the invading Vikings and the Danes, and they're intimidating and they're ruthless and they make good villains. And that's the side of like the story, not necessarily my
Yeah,
opinion on the history, but
yeah.
but I just think there needs to be like an obstacle to overcome that involves like an opposite force that's a person's or a group, not just like in Project Hail Mary, it's just a science problem to be solved. And same within The Martian.
That's debatable.
Like for me, that's what it is. It's the villains that really get me into it. It makes it iconic.
You like a good villain, yeah. Well, that wraps up our Watchtower review and brings us to our next segment, sponsored by Very Good Industries, purveyor of very good dentistry services, very good beef jerky and other jerkies, and also very good food at very good restaurants. That segment is Weapon of Wisdom.
So the quote I chose for us today is from the Darth Vader, where he is surrounded by a military force, and they say to surrender, we have you surrounded. And Vader responds, all I'm surrounded by is fear and dead men. In your life, when you feel surrounded and overwhelmed and have a lot going on to intimidate you, to be honest, I even do this to myself sometimes. I'll think of the Darth Vader quote where all I'm surrounded by is fear, and I don't want to say dead men because I'm not going to hurt anyone, but like dead problems.
Yeah.
But like you can, with that, getting into that attitude where nope, I ain't going down, I think is powerful to overcome any obstacle.
That's great. I love the visual of you standing in the middle of all your problems and telling them that you're just gonna kill them. So
Down on one knee.
that's a good attitude. Uh, Now I know it's playing through your mind when I mention any problems. Well, very good. Thanks everybody for listening to our villains episode. Our book breakdown this week was The Shadow of the Gods, the very first book in the Bloodsworn Saga by John Gwyn. Amazing book. We ranked it an 8.5. That's the highest ranking we've given any book so far on our channel. Speaking of our channel, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you should. And you can be notified or not of any and all of our future videos. Also follow us on Instagram if you aren't already. After the book breakdown of The Shadow of the Gods, we went to a Protagonist IQ test and we did a villains edition where I asked Mason a few questions about villains and we found out that he's just about average. Then we went to blind rankings where Mason gave me 5 villains to rank. I don't know if Mason agrees with my list, but he tried to sabotage me. And then we went on to the Watchtower review, sponsored by Moe's Seafood and Chowder, and we talked about the best villains in cinema. And I don't know, we might have just been rambling, but maybe you'll find some entertaining commentary in that segment. After that, a segment sponsored by Very Good Industries, purveyor of all things very good. Mason gave us a quote on facing down your problems in life. And I encourage you to go back and listen to that segment. Some wise words from the one and only Darth Vader, arguably the best villain in all of cinema. And that's our recap today, everybody. Thank you, Protagonist Nation, as Mason likes to say. Thanks for being here. Thanks for making it all the way to the end. And we will see you next week.